Good evening, everybody. Hope that you had a wonderful day. The weather has been absolutely beautiful today. It was a nice 70. I think the last time I checked was maybe 75 degrees this afternoon, and it felt really, really, really good outside. So I hope that you had a chance to get out and kind of enjoy a little bit of the sunshine today, especially since we had our little ice and snow and whatever. But we're in Arkansas, so you better enjoy it while it's out there. Because next week we'll be back in wintertime again, depending on what's going on. All right, y'all. My name is Wonder Low, and I am the host of the Lady Sound to Wonder Low. I welcome you all in tonight. If this is your first time viewing, I hope it's not your last. Make sure that you come back. You can like us and follow us at my Facebook page, The Lady Sound to Wonder Low. You do the same with subscribing on our YouTube page. On our YouTube channel, it's The Lady Sound to Wonder Low also. So make sure that you hit that little bell that you can get all of the new videos as they post. And I did promise this year that I will go over it and post some from the YouTube page. So I'm working on that and I'll be over there. So if you are watching the YouTube land, thank you so much. Don't go away. I'm coming, I promise. But I don't know. I'm just comfortable with Facebook for some reason. Maybe it's my favorite. I don't know. But I'll be over there. So anyway, again, we're still in the midst of pandemic. The weather is getting nicer, so we know that we want to get out and be around folks. So make sure that you're being careful. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance. Continue doing those things because it is changing the numbers. And so far, right now, I think we're trending down in Arkansas, which is a blessing. We are ready for it. We're waiting on it because springtime is coming and we want to be able to get out and have some fun and spend time with our loved ones. So hopefully those numbers continue to go down. All right, we're not going to have a long show tonight. And it's more of a PSA than anything. So this is more of a public service announcement show because we're going to talk about something that I think is very important, not only just in our community, but in every community, but we need to get more serious about, and that's life insurance. I've been a licensed Arkansas life insurance agent since 2007. So a little bit, this year will be 15 years. And more times than not, I've seen families go through a lot when they don't have insurance. I've seen the devastation it causes. I've seen the disruption it causes in people's lives. And I've seen families struggle to do GoFundMe pages and raise money and go through a lot of drama and trauma because there was no life insurance in place. So tonight I have a special guest with me. And if y'all could tell, she's still working. This is the hardest working woman in Arkansas. But she's a licensed funeral director, and she has been one for over 20-something years. So she's seen way more than I have, and actually she's taught me a whole lot. So I want to welcome Kenya Richardson Wilbert to the show tonight. I think Kenya's been on before. It's been a while back when we're talking about one of her books. She's been on before. So she's an author, she's a film director, she's a community lead. I can't list all the stuff this woman do. She kind of busy, y'all. That's all I can tell you. And we're going to get 30 minutes at a time, hopefully tonight. And if we don't, then we're going to get what we can get. But I wanted to bring her on to kind of talk to you from what it looks like, from that professional perspective of it. And then how she can help families that are in situations where you do have loved ones and you don't have any coverage, how you can go and what you can do and who you can talk to. So, Ms. Kenya, welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. So I'll just kind of start off and then you jump in because you're busy. Okay. So I said we want to talk about life insurance and I want to talk about leaving a legacy instead of a debt. Now, I've done I've done more presentations than I think I probably did in sales, and it basically I was actually in some cases I was actually after the presentations, not so much the sale,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted people to understand how important it is that you do have some type of coverage on your life. We are
Yes.
required by law to insure our houses. We're required by law to insure our cars. We are not required by law to insure our most precious asset, and that's us.
Right.
So what happens when, a person, and I used to use this scenario all the time. You got a husband and a wife, and they have 3 children. And we're gonna say all the kids are under the age of 12. So they gotta be in the house with you some more years.
Mm-hmm.
Both husband and a wife work, and both incomes are necessary. So it's not like back in the day when everything was cheaper and blah blah blah, and mama could stay at home and daddy went out and worked and it was enough. Now both parents have to work, so they need both incomes. So
Right.
we're going to say that both of them make $40,000 each. So they have a total income of $80,000, and that takes care of 5 people in their household. Now, the men always say, "Well, I always kill off the man first." Well, yeah, y'all just kind of naturally sometimes go
But the
for it.
life expectancy is a little
Exactly, exactly. The life
shorter than
expectancy for
women.
y'all is less than it is for us. So the chances of you going first and leaving the wife and the kids is higher than the other way around.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, okay, the husband passes away. Here's what people don't look at. Now they get concerned with, oh, we gotta bury that person, but you gotta also be concerned with there's a whole income now missing from the household.
Right.
Remember, I said both parents had to work. That's $80,000 total. If you took away 40,000 of that, that only leaves 40,000. Now that one person has to carry the whole burden of the house, the kids, everything, because there's nothing in place to replace that income.
Right.
So there are certain types of insurance you can get that can replace that income. So that's why tonight we're kind of going to give you. I can give you a brief overview just by laws and certain things I cannot mention, so I'll make sure I don't. But just to give you just a little bit of information on different types of insurance policies, and then how they work, and then how they can apply to your situation. So, Ken, you want to jump in there?
Yes. I think as the African American community over the years, they've gotten a little better with purchasing insurance, but it's nothing compared to the Caucasian race or
Mm-hmm.
any other race. A lot of times, I think a lot of the reason why we don't do it as a community is because it hasn't been taught. No
True,
one has
true.
really taught, I guess, the generations about insurance and how to be prepared. Now, if you think about back in the day, the grandparents, they had $2,000, $3,000 little policies. They did have something, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it was enough um, that the children or the grandchildren follow follow through with pursuing leaving monies for their families, like you say, just to supplement the income
Mm-hmm.
for that spouse that has left the house. That's no longer there. And sometimes it can be devastating, especially for women that are stay home mothers
Mm-hmm.
and they lose a spouse and they're trying to figure out, how am I going to be able to make ends meet? And a lot of times, if you have something in place and not just insurance just to bury them, but have something in place that the family can maybe at least live off at least for 2 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as a community, we need to do more advocating for us to start getting some kind of policies in place. Or and like you said, we're required by law to have insurance on our houses, on our cars.
Mm-hmm.
But why aren't we required to have insurance on something that we know is going to leave? We know we're going to die. Everybody is
Mm-hmm.
going to die. There's no doubt about it. You don't know if you're going to have a car accident. You don't know if your house is going to catch on fire, but you know you're going to die. So why wouldn't they require you to have some kind of insurance when you do leave this earth?
Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, I know I'll just say when I was out selling actively, and this was way before COVID, and I used to actually be door to door. And I would talk to families, and I always try to talk to the husband and wife together. And the reason I did that was because I needed them both to understand how important that policy that they were trying to put together was. And to make sure that when you sit down and you talk to an agent, whether it be a full service agent or be a pre-need agent like Kenya or be a full service life and health agent like myself, you still want to make sure that you take into account how, if you want a large burial, if you want a small burial, if you want to be cremated. I mean, any of those things. But you have to look at what's going to be left over for the people that are still here. Because guess what's going to come next month, right on time like it does every month? That gas bill, that water bill, that light bill, that phone bill, that car note, that mortgage, all those things continue to go on. Yeah. And if you're taking half of the income out of a household, you're putting everybody in jeopardy of losing that household. And, I think Ken's probably seen, and I know I've seen before, where the husband passes, or sometimes it's the wife that passed away. And the people, they end up losing their home because that other money is not there now to continue to pay for all the bills because they had to have both incomes. So if you have an agent right now, if you're somebody with insurance right now, here's what I want you to do. Get your policy out and look at it. Really pay attention to what kind of policy you have. Do you have a term life policy or do you have a whole life policy? There's a lot of in-between policies in between those. There's pre-need, there's some burial, there's some other things. One thing Kenya said, I kind of got took. I told somebody, I've been a life insurance agent since I was like 7. Now, I wasn't really, but my grandma was a burial agent for a local funeral home in town. So on the weekend, my job was, she gave me a list of people to go and see. And she put on there how much their little burial was. And I'm not joking with y'all. There were people that paid nickels. That's how the policies were very small. It was $250, $500, $1,000, $1,500, and $2,000. And if you had a $2,000 policy, this is back in the early, y'all already know I'm 54, so it ain't no shame in my game by my age. This is back in the early 70s. That's when you were still getting those little policies. If you had a $2,000 policy back then, oh, honey, as the old folks say, you were stepping in high cotton. You had you had a nice policy. But you have to look at the cost of burying somebody back then was way cheaper. So a $2,000 policy then got you a full service funeral. It doesn't work like that anymore. So as inflation increases, the cost of living increases. So guess what else? The cost of dying increases also. So if you have a policy right now, one thing I would challenge you to do is take that policy out and really look at it, and then figure out how did you come to get to that amount that you have. That's the other thing that I try to get people to see too, because I have people call me and go, I want an insurance policy. Okay. My thing is, let's sit down and talk about it first. No, I just need $7,000. Well, how do you know you just need $7,000? You have a whole family, you got kids, you got mortgages, you got cars, you got trucks, you got boats, you got motorcycles. You have all these things that you're still paying on. So what is $7,000 going to do? That might get you buried, unless you're one of those folks that want that gold casket. Yeah, we can't all go like Aretha. So you might want that gold casket. But what is $7,000 going to do for your family? Nothing. That's basically just going to put you in the ground, and that's about it. So they're left behind now to figure out how to pay for all of that stuff. And they've got to do it, remember, again, on one salary instead of two. So one of the biggest points Tina made, she said, make sure that you can at least live anywhere from 2 to maybe 7 years. Give them a stretch. And you can get a policy, and if somebody sets it up right for you, you can have enough money in that policy to where you say, just say we replace them $40,000. You're going to have $40,000 over the course of a year come to that person, just like your salary would. So that way, now they still had an $80,000 income. That might give that mother or that father a chance for those kids to get out of school, and maybe their debt goes down. It might pay off the house. It's so many different ways that if you sit down with the right agent and they're telling you the right thing, and now when I say that, I don't imply that every agent is not, but I do know of cases where people have just not gotten what they needed. And I've ended up writing some folks after somebody really gave them something that didn't fit. And I've ended up writing people who knew a little bit. And then after we went through a whole presentation, I kind of told them, here's what you do and how to do it, ended up with what they needed. I'm not that person that's all about, I just want to sell a policy. I think that's can you say the wrongest? That's the most wrong you can be. What I want to do is make sure your family is taken care of. Because here's the thing I don't want to happen. I don't want to be the one to come to that family and say, we don't have enough money to do whatever. We don't have enough money to bury that person. There's not enough money for you to pay bills after. Because people don't pay attention. There's a lot of expense involved around the funeral, not just the service. You have travel expenses. You have people coming to stay at your house. Your bills don't go up. If you're in the house, everybody comes to when something happens. You got food bills going to go up. You have transportation costs. It's a lot of stuff that happens around the death of a person that drives the amount of money that you're spending. So you have to look at the whole picture, not just get to where, hey, I just want to bury somebody, but look at the whole picture because even after that funeral is over, the expenses are still going to keep coming. You can't hear me? Check yours. Both your mics on. I can hear you though. I can hear you now. Can you hear me now? You say something because I can hear your. Is it water? I'm hearing water. Or there's something in the background. I just don't know what it is. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Uh-oh. I think she jiggled till she lost me. But anyway, just make sure that you sit down and you really. Oh, okay. Just make sure that you sit down and you really go over the whole gamut of things, even education costs. There are policies that you can get, and if depending on how you set it up, you can have money set aside for your kids to go to college. You can have money set aside to help them with their first car. There's a lot of different things that you can do with an insurance policy if you sit down and really think through the process and then set it up the right way. Now, one of the things I will say that I know I've seen, and I'm pretty sure King has too, in our community is we worry about, you said, like Grandma said, you worried about the wrong thing. What I mean by that is, well, I don't want to leave these folks no money. What they going to do? Okay, first off, here's what you got to remember. You'll be gone. You ain't going to know what they're going to do with it anyway. But if that's what you're worried about, then I always refer people to an attorney. Get a trust set up. There's accounts that you can set up to where when you pass away, if there's money that you want to leave to your family members and you're afraid of how they're going to use it, or you're afraid that they're just going to run through it, go to an attorney, have a will drawn up, have paperwork drawn up, and have everything set up so that you can that money comes to them in increments rather than all at one time. Because you know well as I do, in every single family without fail, there's that one person who is going to manage and they're going to take care of things. And then there's that one person you can't trust them with a quarter because you know that quarter going to be gone in the next couple of minutes. So, that was, excuse me, one thing I used to hear from a lot of people, especially people who have several kids. Excuse me, they would always tell me, well, I can't leave it to them. They just going to go through it. Okay, well, there's remedies for that. There's ways to work with that. Go to an attorney and get some paperwork drawn up. Like I said, start a trust. Have an account the money goes to where every month they get a certain amount out of it. They don't have any control on how it comes. You control all that before you leave. So there's ways to make sure that money is not wasted and that they can't spend it all at one time. So please don't ever, ever, ever let that be, the reason that you don't pass wealth on that way. Now, one thing is this little tidbit. People under the age of 18 cannot be your beneficiary. I used to run across that a lot with people wanting to make that 13-year-old, 12-year-old, had an 8-year-old. You cannot have somebody who can't legally negotiate a contract be the beneficiary of your policy. And I tell people, as I do with just about everything, Be prayerful. You know who you want to trust to handle things after you're gone. Be prayerful of the person that you're going to select, because that person is going to have to make some decisions on your behalf. If you're not sure that that person can do it, write it down. The majority of the time, your insurance agent has a little booklet, and you can pre-plan. Especially if you do a pre-plan or a pre-need, you can write out everything down to your cost, everything. Write it down. If you're worried about your wishes being followed after you're gone, so there's a way to always make sure that things get done. Go to your local funeral home and talk to the funeral director. There's ways to get it taken care of so that you're not worried about the money getting wasted or somebody doing anything that they're not supposed to. Write everything down and share that with the family members or friends or whomever it is that you know is going to have to do your final arrangements. Because the worst thing in the world is to have to deal with people when they're really emotional.
Right.
You don't make good decisions. It just works better if things are planned out before. So can you just talk a little bit about the planning process?
Sure. We have at the funeral home what we call a pre-need, and what it is a pre-arranging. You're pre-arranging your service, which means you come in, you sit down, you pick out your merchandise. If you want a limo for your family, if you want flowers, if you want programs, you even pick out your casket. You pick out your cemetery where you want to be buried. You pick out everything that you want for your final wishes. And we have where you can get after you pick out your services, everything that you want, however much it comes out to, you can pay on it monthly. Some people pay the full amount outright, after they pick it out and they know how much it is. Instead of paying on it every month, they might just pay it out however much it is, and that way they know that it's taken care of. But we do have plans. You can do 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Pay on it each month until it's paid off, and that just gives your family comfort in knowing that you've already taken care of what you want done when you're no longer here. So it kind of eases the burden on families when mom or grandma have, taken the time out to pick out the casket. They don't even. I've even had families that the loved one has even done their obituary. I mean, to the point where what song they want sung at their funeral, they've written out their life journey, and even to the clothes, they already know what they want to wear. So families just come in and just, hey, here's mama's envelope, and the mama then already wrote out everything she wanted, and it's amazing because you prepare and you plan for everything. So why not prepare and plan for something that you know is gonna happen?
You know for a fact this is coming.
Just don't know when.
That's it. You don't know when. So then we get into it. I'm glad you said that, because now you get into I'll do it later, I'm gonna wait. We don't know when. We honest to God don't know when. And the best time to think, let's put it like this: if it's ever crossed your mind to do it, do it.
Yeah.
That's why I tell folks all the time, if it has ever been a thought in your head that I need to put something in place to take care of my final wishes, do it. It's not if it happened, it's when it happened. I had a person tell me one time that he didn't need a pre-need because he wasn't going to die. And I just told him, I said, well, will you figure out how to avoid it? Please tell everybody else so we can stick around here too, because I want to know how you're going to pull it off. And I understand that his whole thing was, some people are very fearful of talking about death. And if you bring up children, they will spaz out. And I've had a person do that with me one time. And I learned very, very quickly that if I'm going to talk to you about getting insurance for your children, I have to talk to you in a totally different way.
Right.
But you have to also understand, kids pass away too.
That's right.
And that can also be a burden on the family. Now, when I say a burden or I say a debt, I don't mean, oh my God, I got to do it. I mean the heartache and the pain of a mother not being able to bury their child because they don't have money for it.
Right.
And you all can look at the news, you can read the paper, you can read online how many fundraisers do you all see in the course of a year? You see them all the time. You see, especially when there's a larger family tragedy where, it's the car wreck with the whole family getting killed, and that's 6 people. There's no way possible one person could bury 6 people.
Right. And I want to add, a GoFundMe is not insurance.
No. You're basically dependent on the kindness of strangers.
Right.
And it's not guaranteed you're going to get it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the best thing to do is, like I said, if you've ever thought about it, you've ever had a situation where you were the one having to raise the money or take up collections or do whatever the case was, then you know how important it is to have an insurance policy. Because it's the one thing I can say, Kenya, I've never heard a person say, man, I wish I didn't have insurance.
Never.
I've heard people say, I wish I had more.
I wish I had, right.
Or I wish I had it, period. Yeah. But I've never in my life, in all the years, in 15 years I've been an agent, I've never heard a person say, I wish I didn't have insurance. If your house burns down, do you holler, man, I wish I didn't have homeowners insurance? No. You wreck that car. Do you say, I wish I hadn't had car insurance? No. So think about a body. The body is what gets up every day and go to work and make the money to pay for the car and the house. So why not insure yourself? Because if you're gone, that's no more income. That's no more you for your family. So the best you can do is try to leave them something to make them a little comfortable. Does it make them okay that you're gone? Of course it doesn't. It still doesn't replace you. But if there's a way for you to lift that debt and to leave a legacy, leave something that goes, you know what? I'm so glad that mama made plans. I'm so glad daddy made plans. I'm glad my sisters and brothers made plans.
Right.
And I
want to add one more thing.
Go ahead,
Ms. Lowe. The importance of getting insurance on you and your children, especially while you're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen so many times people wait until they get sick, and then you can't be insured.
Nope.
So, it's important that especially with your children, to me, it's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment. Because you know that one day they may go before you, you may go before them. But if you have something in place, just to, it's going to be hard enough when you lose that loved one,
mm-hmm.
child, parent, spouse. But if you have something in place, that burden of not being able to lay them to rest, or, that loss of income that you no longer have, it's important that you can get insured while you're still healthy and while you're still young.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, a lot of we need to go into the schools or colleges and kind of explain to children the benefit of having insurance,
mm-hmm.
and talking to their parents and making sure their parents have insurance, because a lot of times parents are leaving here in the 50s and 60s, and they're leaving kids 20s and in their teens, and they don't have a clue.
That's true.
So I think it's important for us to know, try to get insurance, even though you don't know what kind of health condition you'll be in 10 years from now. We don't know what's going to be in the elements 10 years from now. We're dealing with COVID, still dealing with COVID. And people are having lingering effects from that. And we don't know if these insurance companies are going to use that as a condition to where they won't insure you, later on in the future.
That's true. That is very true. So again, if you thought about it, it's time for you to do it. Y'all know how you can reach me. If you want somebody to, even if it's just to do a presentation, just to explain some things to you or your family, could be a group of family members you want to get together. Now we won't have to social distance and wear a mask. But I will still be willing to do that. And I know Kenya's willing to sit down with families and talk to them also. But we just I want to just do a real quick show tonight. Like I said, it's a PSA more than anything, just to say, let's think about leaving a legacy instead of a debt. Let's think about how we can make sure that, instead of our families struggling to pay for us, and I'm going to say this and it might offend some people, then, I'm like my girl now, fighting. Not really, because I ain't gonna fight you. I'll do something else to you, baby. But you grown. I'm talking to grown folk. You grown. It is not anybody else's responsibility to put you away.
Right.
If you are over the age of 18 and you're grown, and I'm talking about you 18-year-olds and younger folks that's got 5 kids, all of y'all, it is not anybody. It's not the good folks on the GoFundMe pages. It's not Facebook. It's not social media's job to put your family away. And I know that sounds mean, but I'm being as serious as I can be. It's not anybody else's responsibility. If you say you're an adult and you handle your business, this ought to be something that you handle. As Joe Clark said, who said expeditiously? No, that's T.I. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Expeditiously. You need to handle that. That needs to be something that you do, because I see too many people, and like he said, I'm 54. I have relatives that have passed away in their 30s. I have some that have passed away older. And sometimes help has been needed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuse. If you are an adult, you have a job, because trust me, when Kenya said, you can come and set that up and make payments on it. And it's affordable for anybody. It can work in any budget. Now, again, if you want to go out like Aretha and get that gold casket, that's going to cost you a little bit.
Yeah.
But if that's what you can afford and that's what you want, then that's what you get. But go ahead and put something in place. If you're a person that's now thinking about cremation, go ahead and put that in place. That can even be done in a pre-need. And if you need to pay on it, you can make payments on that also. So, like I said, tonight we just wanted to come on just for a second, do a little short PSA, just to get people thinking. You need to get some insurance in your life. You need to get some in your life, on your life, if that makes any sense. But want to make sure that, rather than, I tell you what, the saddest funeral that you'll ever see is the one where there was no insurance and people struggle to get you taken care of. They're sad because you're gone, but they're even more sad because somebody had to pay their bill money.
Right.
Somebody gave some money that was for food. Somebody gave some money that was for something else important, because you didn't take care of your responsibility.
Right.
So we grown. Let's do grown-up stuff. Let's pay for some insurance. Let's make sure that we get it and we get that policy and we sit down with our families. Older folks, grandparents, get with your kids, get with your grandkids, and get them covered. If mom and dad ain't doing it, you do it. You do it. Mom and dad can give permission. If they know that they're not going to take care of it, grandma, grandpa, if y'all can afford it, do it. But get some insurance on your family members. Get some insurance on yourself. And then make sure that it gets paid every month. I look at a lot of people, and we all waste money. Everybody wastes money in their own way. And I can't condemn that on anybody, because I got my little things I do. But I tell you what, I bet I don't miss a payment on. I bet my insurance policy paid up. Matter of fact, I make sure it is, because it's direct debit. You can set it up to come out your account every month. You don't have to come and hand one of us money. Mm-hmm. You can have that set up to come out your account every month. And then trust me, you're not going to miss that money. And I know a lot of people don't want to do it, and they'll say, well, I don't want nobody to get my money. I don't want to be, okay, guess what, baby, you're going to be gone. I don't know if nobody told you this, but let me go and tell you now. You can't take none of this stuff with you.
Okay.
Then she working. She's also a cosmetologist. The person said, what is that lady doing? She's still at work.
I'm still at work.
She's still at work. But she was nice enough to give me a couple minutes of her time today. She's still working, sugar. That's all she's doing. Because they said, what is she moving for? She's just working, darling. That's all.
Still hard at it at work.
I know, honey, and that's it. I told you she's the hardest working woman in Arkansas. Y'all thought I was joking. She said, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Yeah, baby, she just working. She all right." They thought something was wrong with you. All right. Well, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Kenya, thank you for your time. I sure do appreciate you. And
Thank
be
you
careful.
for having me.
And go home.
I will. All right. I will. I'm almost done.
All right.
Good night.
So you have a good night. Thank you.
All right. You welcome.
All right. All right, y'all. So yeah, she was still working. She's a licensed cosmetologist also. I'm telling y'all, when I say the woman works, she works. So she just took a couple of minutes to help me with the show tonight because I wanted to make sure that we got her side of it because she's a funeral director and she sees all of the stuff that I'm talking about. So again, this was just a short PSA. I hope that you all got some information you can use if you are in Arkansas, because I'm licensed in Arkansas, and you would like a consultation. You want somebody just to sit down with you and explain to you how the policies work or what you do an evaluation of your policy. Please feel free to give me a call. My number is 501-612-8187. You can always email me at the Ladies Lounge. Wait a minute, what is the email? Hold on, y'all. The Ladies Lounge 1050 at gmail.com. I had to think about it. Or you can email me at my personal one. Is WFLowe, WFLOWE, the number 22 at gmail.com. So if you needed some help with just kind of sitting down and going over your policy and looking to see if you're covered and what kind of coverage you have, because that's the other part of it is a lot of people don't know the difference between a term life policy and a whole life policy and what exactly those things cover and how long. So if you need that help, then feel free to reach out to me. You can hit me on my page, you can hit me on Messenger. You can email me at that email I just gave, or you can give me a call. So thank you again so much. I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you tune in Thursday because I'm cooking some, what else I was cooking? Swedish meatballs and egg noodles. Now, before I get off, today was Fat Tuesday, or is Fat Tuesday. So let me tell y'all what I'm cooking. I'm finna go ahead and bake me some pork chops. I got my cabbage already on the stove with sausage in that. And I got some red beans and rice. I'm gonna make some cornbread. And I'm gonna eat like I ain't ate all day, which incidentally I've only eaten once today. So yes, I am gonna eat hard tonight. But y'all, I thank you again for tuning in to the Ladies Lounge at Wonderlow tonight. I will see y'all again Thursday night for Mayro's Cafe. Make sure you go over to that page and like, follow, share. Watch the videos, leave me comments. I've been having the best conversation with people on those videos today. So make sure you go over there. I do email back or text back or answer messages if you leave me one. Thank you all again. I appreciate you. Have a good night and see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.